Okay, this is Jimmy Jive, and you're listening to Motor City Rock Talk. I have a returning guest today from the heavy metal horror show Halloween, Mr. Brian Thomas, whose band is going to be performing their 40th anniversary this Saturday at Harpos. Looks like it's going to be a hell of a show, a hell of a lineup. They're bringing out all the stops. Looking forward to it because I know it's going to be a hell of a night. How you doing, Brian?
Doing good. I'm back.
He's back.
You made me feel young for a minute. You said 20th anniversary. I'm like, right on.
No, well, you don't seem like you're old, man. I know we all feel like we're old and all that.
I'm old going on 18.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
We were talking.
I don't know anything else to do except this crazy job I got.
Yeah, well, that's cool, but I mean, God, there's so much work involved in what you have to do. I didn't realize it until I saw those photos of you guys setting up the stuff out there at your property. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, and it was just 3 of us.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
we used to have a crew of like 10 guys. Funny because I was just doing the list of crews, and I'm like, well, 6 of them that are dealing with medical and injuries, and they'll be there hopefully, and if not, they'll be there in spirit. But I'm like, well, I can't count on this guy or this guy or this guy, and
But do you have will you have enough people otherwise to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Sounds like you need to hire young guys.
Yeah, they're hard to find. Young guys don't want to work.
Yeah, that's true.
If there's any young guys out there that want to work for a cool band, get in touch. But yeah, no, we'll be good. It's like the pictures that you saw, people that were there, like the main people that know how it goes together, and then we gotta get people to kind of help us lift and put things in.
How long does it take to set up a day show like that?
Well, I can give you the whole day schedule. Picking up the truck at 8, hopefully it'll be loaded by 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then drive an hour out to Harpos, load in at 11. It'll take 4 hours to set it up. Halloween's gonna sound check at 3. Gonna get the opening bands on stage around 4, and then we have a VIP dinner that's happening at 5 o'clock. Doors are at 6, and as soon as the doors open, all 4 bands are gonna be at the merch booth doing a meet and greet.
Oh.
And we're not charging like all the other bands. You gotta pay $300 to get a picture or whatever. No, just come on in. As soon as the doors open, we'll be there for a half an hour signing, and then Animal goes on at 6:45. They're playing 30 minutes, so they'll be on until 7:15. Then Set Change, Casting Shadows is on at 7:30 until 18, and then Wrecking Crew will be on at 8:30, and they're playing for an hour, so they'll be done at 9:30, and then somewhere in there we're going to do the raffles and giveaways and all that stuff, and Podell and Sharkman are both going to be there to MC, and then Halloween's going to go on sometime around 10 o'clock.
And how long do you guys going to play for? Do you have any idea?
It's looking like probably 75 minutes. It might go longer depending on how things go.
Sound check. I know you guys have played there quite a bit over the years. Is that with all your props and all that stuff, does that interfere in any way as far as the sound check?
No, once everything gets mic'd up, pretty routine, but they've, I don't know, a lot of our friends and people that have followed the band knew who Cool Chris was, and he just passed away. He was the house sound guy out there. So they've got new people coming in and trying to dial the PA system in, and they've only had one show, I think, since Chris died, and that was Green Jelly to be correct, the other night. And so they're still fixing, and there were speakers blown and a couple of components and microphones that had to be replaced. So they're getting it all dialed in, and they assured me that it's going to be awesome by Saturday.
So you guys don't have your own sound guy? I figured you would.
TJ's dad, Tony, is our sound guy, but they have this new board at Harpos, and they kind of alluded to the fact that they have a guy who's really, really awesome working that board. So we're kind of unsure what Tony's role is going to be. He might just be over the shoulder telling the house guy which guitar player is going to do, or bring this up or down or whatever. We just want it to go smooth.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want to go in there and ruffle any feathers or
sure,
whatever. Tony was going to bring his own board, then they just have to unplug the tails. But the opening bands are all playing on our gear and Wrecking Crew's drums. So it's like our guitar cabinets are going to be mic'd up ahead of time. From the first band, Animal's going to play on our cabinet, and Wrecking Crew's going to put their drums up, and the first 3 bands will play on that. So it doesn't make sense to pull the board and put a different board in there.
Did you guys get to handpick your opening act as far as that?
For this one we did, yeah.
Right.
Normally we try to stay out of the opening act thing because we always end up losing friends, because we'll try to pick people and then the club, because we picked them, the club will try to not pay them, whoever it is. And then they come to us looking for money and we're like, well, we're lucky that we're getting paid.
Right, that's what it's saying.
And if we were doing better financially, we wouldn't have a problem paying the opening bands, but it's like our expenses are through the roof.
Yeah.
Especially doing a big show like, and we weren't sure what we were going to do for the 40th. I was going to try to change it up a little bit, but since I've been doing these stories on Facebook, a lot of people from the past have been reaching out and, you know, and commenting and telling me, oh, I remember when this happened or that happened. So I'm hoping that that a lot of people from our past are going to come out, and they haven't seen that stage show since the 80s or 90s. And so we're going to put it up with a couple of new bells and whistles, but the main show that everybody loved and remembered is what we're using. Rob doesn't really like being up on the crypt because it's 7 feet up.
Yeah,
and,
oh my God.
And he's always complaining that the monitors are no good up there and he can't hear, but he's going up.
Well, speaking of monitors, you guys still at a place like that use just floor monitors? You don't have earpiece?
Jay and Ben are using in-ears. I tried in-ears at one show, but we didn't really have time to dial everything in, and so I'm good with floor monitors, and Rob prefers floor monitors. At Harpos, they have two giant drum stacks. The drummer almost has his own PA system. It's as big as the side fills, and I'm like, how the hell are we going to get those 7 feet up? Dennis, the house guy, he was like, bring more scaffold. There's only so much room on this stage.
Either that or a hell of a lot of milk crates.
Yeah, no.
Stack them on that.
No, it's too big, too heavy for milk crates.
Right, that'd be true. Now, as far as the show, without you giving away the set list, will you be doing a lot of the first album?
A lot of the first album, and I think there's at least 2 songs from each of the other albums.
Okay.
But yeah, a heavy dose of Felt Not of Evil. Again, because people from the past, that's the material that they know. It's funny, I have people come up to me all the time and they're like, and I may have discussed this with you last time, they're like, oh, I have your album. I'm like, well, we have 8 of them.
Yeah. Which one?
I have your album. Everybody just knows Felt Not of Evil.
The other thing I saw today posted, I think it was on Jennifer's Facebook page, that you got somebody coming out to actually videotape the show.
We didn't have anybody, and now there's a couple of people. There's a guy that I used to work with when I DJ'd at Centerfold. He was one of the other DJs, and he works company, or the show is 313, something 313. I don't really know because I've seen him or talked to him in a long time. We started to do a video for She's a Teaser back when the 4.0 album came out, when George wasn't in the band, and we went into Centerfold where we were both working at the time and shot a bunch of footage. Right after we shot that video, people that were in the band then ended up leaving, and George came back, and we went to Germany the first time, and George wasn't really happy with the production on that album, so we kind of scrapped the video and never did it. But somewhere out there, there's like really cool video footage, and Jimmy was the one that shot most of it. So it'll be cool to see him, and I'll figure out what his company's called. But it's 313 something. But they're going to come out, and then one of our fans is going to shoot with a camcorder. And then I got another guy that I used to work with, Caveman. He's out in Las Vegas, and he shot me a number today with a buddy of his that offered to come out. But the problem is we don't have any budget. What has happened, if you know, Roosevelt had bought Harpos, and then he got COVID really bad. He almost died. Still not normal. And not only did COVID affect him physically, but it's affected the entire music.
Of course.
I mean, it shut it down for 2 years. As soon as COVID was basically over, and I may have said this before too, every band on the planet put out recorded 2 albums and then went out on tour. And then the economy took their dump.
Right.
So it's like nobody has money, but everybody's on tour.
Right.
And the ticket prices are sky high. You can't afford to go see everybody, so who's going to take the hit? The local bands, the low end, And
of course, in this town, there are fewer and fewer clubs play it anyway.
Yeah.
So you almost have to leave to go somewhere else to do it.
Well, so we're both us and Wrecking Crew are going in and doing the show half of what we normally get, which is a big deal because you know we got to pay our crew, you know, and we got to pay for a truck, and it's not cheap, it's not free to set up that big stage show. I had to have tickets printed, and there's all these expenses that come along with it, and so we didn't even think about it until a couple of weeks ago, and we're like, man, it's our 40th anniversary. It'd be great if somebody would film it,
especially at that place, that big stage.
And it's probably going to be the last time we're going to be able to do that big show at that place because, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, if Roosevelt's going to keep it, you know, if he's going to retire, if somebody else will buy Harpos down the road, but I don't see anybody having the passion that Roosevelt has.
Oh, right.
I mean, all the way back in the Blondies days.
Yeah.
And then the Blondies on 4th Street, and when he had Todd, it's like he always does a great job, and he always supports the local scene, so I just don't know, you know, so we're looking at it like it's our 40th, it might be the last big stage show there, so we really want to do it upright, and it'd be nice to have it filmed. But we can't afford to hire somebody to do it.
Obviously.
So unless somebody wants to like do a deal with us where, you know, they film it and then if we put it out like on a DVD or whatever, we figure out some kind of percentage, some split or whatever.
Well, that would be fair.
But nobody wants to work for free either.
No,
so
of course.
What are you gonna do?
And to do something like that, you'd want it hopefully to be done right. Like you said, multi-camera and all that.
We filmed one of the shows at Diesel years ago, and it was like a 3 or 4 camera shoot, and we've never even seen it. In fact, Donnie Allen is going to come up and do a couple songs with us on Saturday, and so he was at rehearsal last night, and he asked me, he goes, you know what, he goes, I'd love to see the video from when we played Headbangers Open Air in Germany back in 2007. I go, yeah, me too. You've never seen it? I said, no. And they filmed it for a television show in Germany, and they interviewed us for this TV show. Never seen it. We've looked all over. We've Googled it. We've asked people in Germany if they could send us a link. We've never seen it.
It hasn't been bootlegged somewhere either, has it?
I have no idea.
Because I hear it could be a big issue over in Europe with bands.
We played with Rage and Candlemass, Grim Reaper, a bunch of really cool bands, and never saw the video.
The other thing I wanted to mention, and I felt bad because I didn't mention it the last time you were here, is your merchandise store. It's online. I mean, I know people know about it, but have you got some new merch on there, or is it pretty much the same? And how much of that will you have at the show?
We just got new shirts made for the show. There's an event shirt that's going to have all 4 bands on it, and there's a limited amount of those because we weren't sure how they would sell. There's a brand new shirt with resembles the Horror Fire album cover. You know, it has the logo and the Heavy Metal Horror Show. They're really sharp, and a couple people have seen them, and they're like, I want that one.
Yeah.
And then we did something kind of cool that, you know, we always seem to have the logo and Jack on it and whatnot, and we've done that a bunch. So what we did was we took a picture from the 2018 show that we did at Harpos with the stage show, and had an artist kind of do a pencil drawing to the picture, and we put the stage show on a shirt, and it's kind of like a ghost image. It looks ghostly.
Oh, wow.
And then on the back it says the Heavy Metal Horror Show. So it's the whole front of the shirt is the stage show.
Yeah, well, that's cool. The other thing I was going to say is other bands have done this, and I think this would be a killer shirt. I'm not, I don't know about cost and what would be involved in that, because some of the pictures that Jennifer had sent me, they have quite a few promo shots of the band. Have you ever thought of a shirt that's like a promo picture with you guys?
We've talked about it, but there's so many people coming and going from the band that by the time we settle on a shirt, the lineup has changed.
I know, but you're doing a vintage 40th anniversary show. Yeah. And like you were saying,
you can't really put out a shirt with Rick and Bill on it without, them consenting.
Yeah, that's true. Because then, then it would could involve that. That's a shame.
I'm still trying to raise money to save my building. I got a little bit of an extension from my landlord. In fact, my landlord's company, True Tech Concrete Coatings, is one of the sponsors of the show, and we're using their truck to move the gear. But anyway, I got a little bit of a reprieve on that because I was supposed to be out by the end of the year. We're going to extend that a little bit. We did a shirt of me, creepy shirt that was done in Ann Arbor years ago, and it's a really cool shirt, and that's available online too.
Now, there again, at your
proceeds from that shirt are going towards the building.
Sure. So at the show, will you guys have pretty much all this merch? You're gonna pull out the stops as far as bringing that, or
we're gonna have a lot of merch. There's a couple of them that are mail order only because the company that we use just does mail order stuff.
Right.
But you can see it at the show and order it there and have it shipped to you. But we have a lot of merch.
When you were here last, we had talked a little bit about there were plans on reissuing some of the catalog, if not all the catalog.
Territory will be reissued, and that'll be available on Saturday. And the new Wheels album that we're on will be available Saturday. And then, like I was telling you before we went on air, 1988 show, the live show, is at a studio right now. It's being digitized so that we can put that out. Hopefully with the video to accompany it. And the plan is to reissue a lot of the older stuff. I would love to do this Victims of the Night remixed and remastered without the electric drums. Rick has the original recordings from Don't Meddle with Evil and Victims of the Night in Atlanta. And Jason Hartless reached out to him and said, hey, we'd like to rework those two albums. And Rick told him that he's been looking for those tapes for years. So I don't know what's up with those, but if we can get Rick to send them back to us, we'd like to, Victims of the Night had, I think, 5 other songs that never made it. I Scream was one of them. The actual official version of Halloween Night was one of them.
Yeah, I saw that posted recently on Facebook.
A couple of them, can't remember all of them.
Right.
So many, but there was like 5 other songs that were supposed to be on that album that never need to make the rock with another one. So now we'd like to get them all out.
Speaking of material and songs, I mean, I know you guys have been real busy, especially building up to this show, and obviously a lot of rehearsals, getting everything together. Probably most recently, of course, at the time. Has there been anything as far as, or have you had any time recently at all to write any new material? Is there anything new as far as that?
We have a bunch of new material written and a couple of older songs that are going to be on the new album. But I mean, again, COVID did a number on us. We were in the middle of working on stuff, and then that happened, and everything shut down. And then George having cancer, and Rob with his knee problems and all, and so our recording studio got pushed back. But we have songs written. We just haven't, everything comes up and sidetracks it. That keeps getting pushed to the back burner. We had to get ready to go to Europe, to Germany, and because of COVID, Rob didn't renew his passport because we weren't sure what the travel rules and regulations were going to be. So he didn't renew his passport, so Jason Hartless went and played drums for us. So we had to rehearse to get ready to go to Germany. And then we're getting ready for this anniversary show. And then right after that, we got to get ready for Mexico. And then we're going to try to do the fan jam that got canceled last year because of the ice storm and Rob's wife having a heart attack. So there's been all these little things.
Yeah, sure.
And so the album has kind of got pushed to the side. We have a lot of new material. We just got to get in there and roll up our sleeves. And I'm hoping that after Mexico, the end of the year, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm hoping to be able to take some time off. I just got my health insurance hopefully back reinstated, and I want to go get this hernia taken care of and get my teeth taken care of because I hate that I'm missing teeth in the front from a car accident a long time ago. And but hey, I just have to tell myself it's Halloween. I'm supposed to look creepy and fucked up and stuff.
You'll be fine, man. You'll be fine. Are you gonna be doing the wig switcheroos?
I don't know yet. That's always
because I got a blonde one in there if you need one. I got a blonde one you can have.
If you got one that looks like I used to.
I think it looks maybe even great. Actually, it's sort of like that. It's funny. It's one I picked up at a garage sale, and it's supposed to be dark.
Oh, okay.
It even came with the glasses and all that.
Well,
so it's.
I had a really long one that I.
So it's a cheap one, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I had a really cheap, really long blonde one that I used in 18 or 19. I only put it on just for effect. I did the same thing in Germany, and just to go, hey, remember when I had blonde hair? Just joking around, really. But what's really funny is that I worked for Wrecking Crew, and Vinny looks like I used to back in the day. He looked more like how my hair was than Vince Neil's.
Right.
I'm like, hey, where'd you get that wig? I need to get one. But the lady that made them for them, hard to get a hold of.
So
yeah, I don't know. It's always spur of the moment. I never know what I'm going to do on stage. I just kind of, I get in the dressing room area and I go, okay, here we go, and I just come up with something.
Right. Well, I know you got aches and pains, and you're talking about your age, but you still look like you got the energy. You still got the drive. I mean, you still want to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people our age, your age, my age, I give kudos to guys like you. Not only that you're out still doing it, but you're doing it on a freaking grand stage like you're doing, having to move all this equipment. Most people by this time would say, screw that. We'll wear a few costumes and downscale everything.
If Ozzy can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's supposed to put out a new album, so, but he's got a lot more financial backing, I think, than you do, so that helps him.
That's the big difference right there. Yeah, it's like I'm out there building stage shows and then playing, and I can't get some of my friends that are younger than me to even leave the house to just come watch me do that. You're not that old, you can do it. Oh man, I had to work all day. I'm like, yeah, I worked all day.
Yeah, so did you.
Then I built the stage show, then I played a show, then
and I'm older than you are.
Right.
Yeah, don't tell me about being tired. I mean, my God. Well, those photos, like I said, that I saw of you strike the stage, so that was out at your house, your property?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that where you store it, or did you say you have another building somewhere where you store it?
Yeah, it's sort of our rehearsal place. Everything's there.
So what building were you talking about earlier that your lease might be up at the end of the year?
No, it's the same. My house and my building are connected.
Oh, okay. I see. I thought that was just like your big garage or a pole barn that you own.
I live there, and it's an old. I want to give the location.
No. I don't.
When we were in Inkster,
no,
we had people show up at like 3 or 4 in the morning after they were out at a bar partying, and they're knocking. Hey, what are you guys doing? Let's get high.
No, you definitely don't want to do that.
I'm definitely too old for 4 a.m. visitors.
Hell, I'm too old for 11 p.m. visitors anymore. I got to get up pretty early in the morning too, but
I know we were supposed to do this last night.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I didn't work today. That was why when you said 10:30, I'm like, yeah, man, you're the one that has to work on Monday. I'm like, no, that's cool, but I figured when it got that late, you were going to be beat. You're going to be wiped out and too tired to want to do it.
I already put this off twice, so
no.
I got to make sure I get over it.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I wanted to have enough time to edit this properly. That's the big thing, because I want to make sure to do it right. But with my, talk about low budget. I got no budget, so I still try to do as good a job as I can with what I have. But I really want to.
You've done a great job. I've listened to Chuck Burns and Mickey St. Clair, and it was neat because after I did my first one with you, and Chuck had done one, and then we were at Jason Hartless's party in the summertime, and Dave Black and Chuck were there, and me and George.
Yeah, I saw that.
And there was a picture of George and Chuck and David, and we sent it to Mark Andrews down in Nashville, and we go, hey, we're putting a new band together. And then I saw Mark like about a month ago. He's like, yeah, that picture wasn't funny. It's great because everybody thinks that we all hate each other.
Yeah, right. The old school rumors. Yeah, that's hilarious. Now that's an idea right there. What an awesome kind of freaking spin on things that would be. As far as hey, let's create a whole sideline or sideshow supergroup.
We talked about it. We said we should get together and do a supergroup, play one show, make an album, and break up.
Yeah. Like Blind Faith or something, Yeah,
we talked about it.
Yeah, people would dig the hell out of that. I'm sure of it.
Well, there's pictures of the 4 of us together conspiring.
A real motley crew, so to speak. Well, I'm not going to keep you here too long. I just wanted to really get this in, put out the main factors of shows. So there again, doors open at 6 o'clock?
Doors open at 6, meet and greet immediately. You walk right in the door, come right over to the merch booth, and all 4 bands are going to sign whatever
they have.
Mm-hmm. We got pictures that we're going to sign, and then, like I said, we're doing a raffle for an autographed guitar. There's going to be a couple of, it's a cool looking red guitar. It's basically a wall piece. And then we have glossy color pictures. We're going to do like a beanbag toss, and so if you get the cornhole beanbag in there or whatever, you win like a picture of your band of choice.
Oh wow, that's kind of cool. Yeah, there's some people playing Twister.
We just wanted to do some special stuff, like the VIP dinner. One of our good friends owns a restaurant, and his sponsorship was he said, I'll bring the food and feed the band and crew, and we said, well, we're going to get 10 people to buy tickets, and then the money from those tickets we're gonna give it to him for helping.
So is that dinner actually at Harpos?
Yeah, it's at Harpos. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's really cool.
My girl is setting up tables right in front of the bar.
Pulling for it, man, because I know it's going to be a killer show, and I know you guys are going to, put your best foot forward, because, I mean, I saw you a while back at the Token. Blew me away that you were able to do that in that club, and I know you weren't able to put as much of the stage show out as you wanted because of the side of the stage, but it still blew me away what you were able to put up there, and the characters walking across the stage and doing all, I'm like going, you're not going to see that anymore. Bands aren't going to do that.
Harpos too. And the Wheels album too has helped too, because they've been promoting that on TV and on the radio, and Doug was nice enough to put us on another one. We were on the Motor City Rocks 3 album back in the day, and now Jason Hartless remastered What a Nice Place, and it's on the new Wheels album. I haven't even seen one yet. I mean, I've seen pictures of it, but I haven't held one in my hand yet. I can't wait to get one. But I mean, that's cool too, and hopefully some of the people that, they'll be like, oh, Halloween's still around, from hearing about us on the radio. And I'm doing an interview with Doug tomorrow.
Is it going to be on the air?
Yeah. Oh. 4 o'clock tomorrow on Wheels.
Oh, no doubt. Okay.
Which won't make any sense to your listener, because I don't, you never know when they're going to hear this.
Right. That's why I wanted to make sure to get you over here, so I have time.
So by the time this airs, I will have interviewed with
Right.
You may have heard it.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I told you I wanted to do this, I really enjoyed having you over the last time. I love the stories and all that. I've always been a big supporter of bands. I've been in bands. And I know this is a huge event. It should be a huge event in Detroit. The rock and roll metal scene in this town.
It's not easy to keep it going for 40 years.
Yeah, for anybody.
And everybody's like, oh, well, it's not the original band. Well, Rick moved to Atlanta.
Yeah.
As far as I know, Bill's not even playing anymore. And, he went through some health. But it's like George and I, half of the original, and it's not even the original band, it's the classic lineup.
Right, the classic.
Because the original lineup was back when Bitch changed over and Mark Scott was playing with us. But it's half of the classic lineup that are still writing, still performing, and doing the big stage show. And every version of the band, we've had really talented people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Billy Gray and Tommy Stewart. Tommy Stewart went on to be in Godsmack, Low Pro. He was in Fuel. He was in Everclear. But I mean, he was the original member of Godsmack. And he came from us. He was in Lily and Axe. He was a rock star 5 times over after Halloween. Yeah. And then, I mean, Donnie and Tim, I mean, we had always wanted to be a 2-guitar player band. If you read my Facebook stories, we started out. Mark and Rick were a guitar team, brothers from Baltimore. And then we couldn't keep the right drummer in the band. And funny, because Chuck and I talked about what happened with him leaving the band. After all these years, we finally cleared the air. And I was like, what you thought happened did not happen. And but things that time passes, and we finally got to talk about that, which was really cool. Bob was a monster on the drums. That No One Gets Out album is killer. But when it came out, grunge was coming in. So it's like metal was like, oh yeah, metal's passing out. But then years later, everybody went back and went, oh wow, No One Gets Out's a really good album. People who said I have your album, they only don't know it was evil, And then
the timing on Victims of the Night was that story which you told the last time. I think that would have really helped fuel the fire at that time, if that would have come out in correlation with the time, because that's an extremely strong album also with the classic lineup, as you call it.
Was supposed to be a full album. There's more songs that were supposed to go with that, but we got to go out on tour with Crimson Glory, and we had to hurry up and put something else. We just issued a cassette with 5 songs on it, and those are great songs with Billy and Tommy. In fact, that's when I really started focusing on my singing. Like, I was ragging on the old days, but it's like I knew I was going to be sharing the stage with Midnight. He's like the voice of an angel. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to go out there and shit the bed, and then he's going to come out and just embarrass me. So I really started focusing on, all right, less stage show and more inner focus on my instrument. And I'm like, I vowed, I'm like, I'm gonna watch everything Midnight does. I'm gonna pay attention to everything. And then the dude smoked like a carton of cigarettes by noon. He drank a case of beer by noon. He didn't take a shower. He was constantly screaming and arguing with his girlfriend back in Florida the whole tour. And I'm like going, oh my God. This guy's a mess, and listen to that voice. Like, where's that coming from?
Right.
It was mind blowing.
Yeah, some people can do all that shit and still.
I'm like, well, there's no formula. I'm gonna have to work on myself.
Everybody's different. Well, the thing you just mentioned, because when we talked before, how about Chuck being in Halloween, and obviously going on to.
Well, it was Bitch,
Bitch. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Before
it became Halloween. Any chance he would be at the show and maybe consider a song?
He wouldn't know any of our stuff except the song Halloween, and we're opening with that.
Oh, okay.
And our version's slightly different than Seduce's.
Yeah, it was.
I made minor little changes.
Talk about throwing in drummers from the past and all that. That'd be something. But yeah, I can understand.
It would be awesome if he came out, but I don't know if he would know any of our material.
Well, there again, at least to show up.
Anybody that gets it up on the drum kit, they got to climb 7 feet up a ladder to get behind.
Yeah, Lee's a big guy. I think he can handle it, right?
Yeah, but the problem is Rob don't want to climb down and then back up.
So are you also, like at the Token show, are you going to have a mishmash of other musicians, bass players, guitar players? They're going to be setting in during the show?
Brian from Wrecking Crew is going to come up and do a couple songs. Donnie Allen's going to play a couple of the songs that he was instrumental in and recorded and wrote. And again, it's a big question mark if Bill White will play, but he said he's going to be there. And
that'd be great if he was, like I said, if he at least showed up and people get some pictures with him and you and George and all that.
And Johnny B's going to come up and do a couple of songs because we've been working with him to get him up to speed with the band. And there just wasn't enough time to get him completely dialed in and ready for the show. And being the 40th anniversary, it's too big of a deal to have any question mark. So, and I mean, he's a great drummer and he's going to be a really good fit with the band, but just everything just wasn't ready for him to do this whole show. So Rob will be up there for most of it, but Johnny's going to come up and do a couple, and we'll see. I mean, who knows? If other people may show up. Maybe Rick will surprise us and drive his tour bus in.
Now that would be cool. There again, even if he didn't play, you just get a shot of you guys together, just for old time's sake, especially being the 40th anniversary. That would be really, really cool.
That's the thing. It's like, we never fired them guys. Just things happen. They went a different way, and we always told them the door's open if you ever want to come out, jam, or whatever. And every time that I've been to Atlanta with Wrecking Crew, I've tried to hook up and see Rick, but he's always busy. He's driving the tour bus, so he's gone a lot. But yeah, I mean, that would be amazing for the four of us to get a picture at least together.
Or, a whole big picture of everybody that's there that has been in the band. This is a cast of characters.
What was really weird last night was jamming with Donnie being there, and then, he came and played the 2 songs that he's going to do with us, but he sat there through the whole rehearsal listening to us play songs that we used to play with him. And it would be the same with Rick and Bill.
Sure, of course.
And I remember one of the hardest things that broke my heart was when Steve Perrone got in his accident and was in the wheelchair, and I was filling in for him with Simon, and they brought him to see us at the Ritz on Hoover, which used to be New York, and September's and all that. And dude, here I'm on stage singing his songs, his words, and he's sitting in a wheelchair right in front of me, like right in front of me. And I see a tear.
Yeah, it had to be a major emotional night for that.
But it made me think of that last night, just that, Donnie's in the room and we're playing all these songs, and, he used to be the one playing them, and it would be the same with Rick and Bill.
Of course.
I know how I would feel, like if they get a new singer, and I'm like,
of course. Of course you would.
Even if the guy blew me away.
Right. But I mean, this has been your baby, more or less. You started the project.
Donnie still sounded great. I told George today, I go, I'd be in favor of him being like the Glenn Tipton of the band. I'd still love to have him contribute to some of the writing.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to end this here. And Brian, I really want to thank you to come out. And I know you're going to have a great show. Can't wait to see it. All right, Brian, I'm going to let you go. And like I said, I really appreciate you coming out. Wish you the best.
Thank you. And again, if you're hearing this on Friday, the show is tomorrow, Saturday, the 21st. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Meet and greet with all 4 bands. Immediately walk right in the door, come over to the merch booth, and we'll all be there signing stuff. Animal, who's a great young band.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're playing at 6:45, and then Casting Shadows goes on at 7:30. Wrecking Crew goes on at 8:30, and Halloween goes on right around 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
There's a raffle.
Don't be late.
No.
Don't be late. You don't want to miss
We're
this.
going to have Wheels albums. Doug Podell and Sharkman are emceeing the night. We're going to have lots of merch. We're going to have raffles to give away an autographed guitar that all 4 bands are signing.
That's cool.
And beanbag toss and pictures, and it's going to be a good night.
Yeah, it is. All right. Anyway, this is Jimmy Jive, and like I like to always say, keep rocking and get rocking out to Harpos this Saturday night, Halloween 40th anniversary show. You don't want to miss it.